what we're up to. I'm a bit nervous to chase this soak down.
Stefan's come to ride a national track and a World Cup track that we've probably raced for part of 15 years. It's the only downhill track that is here in Maritzburg, so it's the only track I train on in the off season when I'm back, and you'll get to see that it's not really well maintained, but I guess that sharpens up the skills.
I think this is actually the first time that we're ever going to ride together. Like, I mean, we've obviously been at a race, but I don't think I've ever done a run with you.
Oh, right. Let's make it happen.
Greg, first of all, thanks very much for having me out and having us out to film.
It was cool.
Lines.
It was very good, thanks.
Yeah, I've looked up to you honestly my whole career, and I didn't expect that I'd get the opportunity to film with you, or to ride with you actually. So yeah, it's been really fun.
Hey, no, it's been good. It was a good day. It kind of was like a typical day where it's, in Maritzburg in summer we get a lot of rain, so it's hard to ride downhill. So I think yesterday was a typical day where as soon as there's a bit of moisture, you absolutely cannot ride. And I think we experienced that, as well as the guys who were shuttling us. I mean, they battled to get down. But yeah, that was pretty much a typical day of riding downhill, yeah.
I was a bit nervous there. They've got my credit card details on the rental car. So. We're here now in PMB, and obviously you're from here. Where is home for you now?
So home is Andorra. It's really hard to train there through the winter, so we still kept our house here in Maritzburg, and my wife and I come back for the South African summer to train and get ready for the season. So obviously we both grew up here and it works quite well. It's, we live literally a kilometre or two across the valley, so to come up here and ride and train is easy to do. I don't spend a lot of time riding downhill. Unfortunately, summer's the wet season, so that doesn't help, but just the regular training routine, it's easy to get into here.
And like longer term, do you see yourself doing the same thing, also coming back every year, or do you see yourself spending more time over there?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be racing. I think I've pushed the boat out a little bit. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting couple of years now as I transition into whatever I do. I think it's somewhat daunting, but also exciting. And I think you're probably going through the same experience. We're lucky in a great industry with a lot of opportunities.
I mean, we're here now, obviously on the track in Cascades, where you've had a lot of success. And what would you say? I mean, is there anything that comes to mind, like special, that you find about this place and Maritzburg in general, that brings back happy memories?
It's funny because when we raced here, it was always either in the start of winter or the end of winter, and the season is quite different from summer to winter. So as we start to get into winter, it brings back a bit of memory from here. Pretty lucky, really. I don't know many riders who are able to race in their hometown and a world championship, and so this was a part of the. We're sitting on the track. One of the probably crucial parts of the track. The end of the pedaling section. So it's cool. I think I was very fortunate to be able to race at home and to win.
Yeah, I still don't know how you managed to pull that off under that pressure. I don't think many people know. Amazing day. What's one thing that people don't know about you? Is there something that people don't know about you?
No, I don't know. I think I get taken quite seriously, but it's obviously I'm quite serious when I race and I put a lot of effort into that. But I think generally things are pretty relaxed. But I say that, then I seem to give everything 100%. So whether it's going to the pub for dinner, it's 100% pub dinner, and then it's trying to train the next day, it's 100% back into training. And so it's different, when you grow up in such a different place to the rest of the world circuit racing. When you leave home and you don't have anyone around you that's a friend that you grew up with or you raced with or anything else, it's quite hard. Not as comfortable as some of the other countries. If you grew up in France racing and you go to a World Cup, there's probably going to be a guy there that you knew from when you're racing as a junior or as a youth. So I think coming from a place like this where there was no one, I knew no one on the World Cup circuit, it can be isolating at times, but it's definitely something that I would never change, and it definitely it's been a great experience.
You being on a team for that long on Syndicate and now moving over to Norco. What has that been like in terms of, I mean, obviously different bike, different people, different surroundings?
I haven't actually got to experience it fully yet, because the only experience I have was a bit of testing. And from that experience, it was completely different to what I was used to. Just the attention to the preparation to be at testing was incredible. So far the experience has been quite different, but I'm excited to go into, we're going to go into our first team camp in a couple of weeks, and that's really where we're going to get a feel of what this team's like. And I've put together all the people in place, so from team managers to operations to head of trackside support to media guys. It's going to be a hell of an experience. I'm a little bit nervous to see how it works, but I feel like it's a strong team. I feel like the foundation and the culture around the team is right, and it's in the right place, and I think that's important.
How many people actually on, what's the group size? You know?
Probably about 14, including the riders.
Sure. Is that like, pretty standard for, like, in terms of what it was like on Syndicate?
It's probably equal in staff. Yeah.
Everyone's very interested to see how you're going to do on it.
I'm just hoping it works out.
So for me, one race that sticks out in my career is recently winning national champs after a difficult few years of injury. And I mean, for you, you've won, so many World Cups, World Champs, World Cup overalls. We're here in Maritzburg, which I'm sure is one that sticks out for you, but if there was one that sort of really is the most memorable day, is there one?
Obviously winning here was pretty high on the list, but it also was really tough because of the expectation of me winning. I think that everyone local that came to watch, they didn't come to watch and see how I did, they came to watch me win, and that was hard. So I felt the pressure, and it was going to be a hard race. A race that stands out to me is actually the World Championship in Waldo De Wet. To me, that was a great race, a lot of fun. I got to enjoy the win. I got to enjoy my time in the hot seat, and on such a brutal track where you really, just to get down is a struggle, and then you've got to get down, but you've got to be ahead of this pile of fast Frenchies and everyone else that can kill it in Waldo De Wet. And your bike's under strain, your body's under strain. It's a brute of a track. So that one was, to me, that's the one race that stands out as in my career.
I think earlier in your career, you were known like as a powerhouse and a peddler, and in the further on you got, you proved that you can do it on any track. So on a similar topic, I mean, maybe it was the same race, I don't know, but what would you say was the most difficult race for you to win? Like where you did win, but it was like just a real challenge for you mentally to do it.
Sure. There was one. And I want to say maybe Le Brace in France, probably like 25, 30 years ago. No, it wasn't that long ago. I'm pretty sure I won there. And in qualifying, I was maybe 6th or 7th, but quite a bit back on time. And I was like, holy, like if I want to win this race, I really have to open it up, but not like in a section. It wasn't like one section I was behind, it was like the whole track. Yeah. And I was like, how do I absolutely do this? And I think that was like probably at a time when Fabian Burrell and Steve Pete were super competitive. And it was wet and muddy, and I don't know, I just put together some run and managed to win it. So I remember that standing out.
Getting injured obviously is something we all try to avoid. I've had my fair share, now having a hip replacement and everything. And for you, obviously, it was at the end of 22 that you broke your neck?
Yeah.
How did you, I mean, that was obviously a very serious injury, and how did you manage to, deal with that, especially at this point in your career, and, come back, put that behind you? Was it tough, or did you, were you able to kind of get over that quite easily?
I was very lucky because the 4 fractures I had were all stable. So I guess when you have a big accident or a big injury, and it really affects how you move or and that's a bit more reminding. So, you know, you go pick up something and your like wrist doesn't work properly or something. So like for me, my neck, once I was out the neck brace, actually felt really good because I'd fractured it prior in a car accident. And so it was the first time that my neck was stabilized in like a fixed position with a brace for 3 months. So it felt like everything kind of settled and relaxed, and I could build it up and strengthen my neck again, and it actually came out better. But then you go for, you know, once I'd recovered from that, I had this silly little operation where they fixed a tendon, my thumb tendon in my wrist. And so now I don't have the mobility in my wrist, and now my thumb doesn't work well. And so to me, that's more of a reminder of, wow, shit, you know, you sacrifice a lot racing because now you can't text properly and you can't pick up things, you can't use your hand properly. So to me, that's more of a hindrance and more of a reminder about how risky sport can be rather than the neck, which probably should be the other way, but you know, I'm thankful it's the way it is.
What does life look like for you after racing?
Hey, maybe on a beach, surfing, drinking pina coladas. I don't know. Life after racing, I will definitely be in the bike industry. I love this industry. There's so many different parts to it. I think I'll still be involved in racing. I've got such an amazing gig with Norca, being able to direct this team and put it all together, and it's been an exciting start to the year, a lot of work, but as Gracie's had a great start winning Hardline, I mean, that was so
insane.
cool to see. I just want to see this team grow, and I think that's going to be my next race, is a race to have the best team in the world. And I think we've got the infrastructure and we've got the team to do it.
Dude, thanks so much for making this happen and coming out and riding. I had a lot of fun. It was great to get to know you a bit better. And should we?
Yeah, that's cool. Full frontals on OnlyFans next week.
Stay tuned on my OnlyFans. Greg Minnaar nude. Let's see how many bidders we can get.
That was cool, Stefan. Thanks. It was a good day riding.
Dude, thanks very much, man.